Hey guys, what's up? So we have a new update on Advanced Server and it's patch 1.7.16. First on our list is the tentative adjustments on Alice. Her new passive skill will now generate 2 orbs when an enemy hero dies nearby. And each orb will now give permanent 20 mana and 10 HP. It's like Sicilian stacks where he gets permanent mana. To balance, they had to remove the mana restoration when absorbing an orb. They also changed the bonus stats when collecting 12 orbs. Instead of cooldown reduction, it will now give 1.5% maximum mana regen per second. That's like having the regen of the item Enchanted Talisman. Another big change is her ultimate. It now deals damage based on the enemy's maximum HP, and you can increase it when you have more mana. It's like the combination of Lunox and Sicilian skills. Higher mana will result in higher HP base damage. Here is her damage to the Lord with full stacks and no items. In exchange, they had to adjust the skill by increasing its mana cost and weaker heal. They also adjusted her stats by lowering her HP and removing mana growth since she already benefits from her new passive. The developers said they wanted to promote her tanky mage role, that's why they had to make these changes. I think tank build is more suitable on Alice now since she has built-in mana regen and her damage is now based on the enemy's HP. Next is the buff on Pharsa. Her passive skill will now deal damage based on the enemy's maximum HP. So on a squishy hero, her damage is 307. If we test it on a damage bot, it becomes 8000 plus because the bot's HP is high. Aside from this buff, they also lowered her ultimate cooldown by 4 seconds. There's no tentative adjustment label, which means there's a high chance that this will be implemented. It's a good day for Pharsa mains. Next is the buff on Valir. The charging time of his first skill will be lowered by 2 seconds in the late levels. This is good for those who are poor at aiming. You'll have a shorter time waiting for the next charge. Next are more nerfs on Beatrix. The basic attack damage of her sniper rifle and shotgun are lowered. The damage of her shotgun's ultimate is also lowered. But in exchange, the reload time on all weapons is now slightly faster. And her special skill will only need 3 seconds instead of 5 before she can switch weapons. Next is Natalia, a slight revert on her nerf last week. She will now be revealed after 0.6 seconds if an enemy hero is near her. As you can see, she can now cover more ground before she is detected. And the cooldown between 2 ultimates is now shorter by 1 second. It's still a nerf, but not as brutal as last week. Next is Faramis. The developers cancelled his tentative adjustment where they shortened the range of his first skill. In exchange, they will add 3 more seconds of cooldown to his first skill. The damage is now lower on his second skill, and his ultimate will now have less HP. Is this enough to remove him from the number 1 ban slot? Next is the adjustment on Badang. They shortened the charging time of his first skill, but in exchange, the damage is now lower. That minus 3 seconds will mean more stun chances, so I guess we can consider it as a buff. Next is the adjustment on Julian's nerf. They did a partial revert on his cooldown last week. From a fixed 7 seconds at all levels, it's now 9.5 in the early and 6 seconds at late game. This means he will have a shorter cooldown when reaching level 15. Next is a slight nerf on Gusion. His new passive damage is now weaker by 1%. And the heal he gets is no longer based on the enemy's missing HP. It now has a 50 base and a 25% magic scaling for each stack. This means he can heal pretty well even if the target has full HP. Next is the revamped Lesley, a slight adjustment on her attack stats. And they lowered her attack speed ratio by 20%, which means she won't benefit much from attack speed stats or items. In exchange, they increased the bullet speed of her basic attack and ultimate. Next is the buff on Minsitthar. His second skill now has more shield in the early game. Its hitbox is improved, as well as the animation speed. Next is Aamon. They cancelled his tentative adjustments from last week, so no changes for this guy. Next is the new hero, Joy. Higher damage and shorter cooldown for her first kill. Next is the nerf on minions. They will now deal less damage to make it easier for low HP heroes when reaching late game. It only applies to heroes and not on tower. This is probably for those mages who are having a hard time against late game minions. Next are the item changes. Athena's shield will now have a shorter out of battle requirement, from 10 to now 5 seconds. It means you get to activate its unique passive more frequently. The new glowing 1 damage will now scale with level. I think this is just fair because Radiant Armor also scales with level. Fleeting Time will now work on those ultimate skills that uses transformation just like Lunox and Kagura. This might be an indirect buff for those two mages. Last is the Remark feature. There's no more limit when putting remarks on your friends. I think previously, you can only remark 5 times. But now, you can rename all your friends whatever you like. So what can you say about the update? Do you like the new Alice skills? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. That's all for this video. Stay safe and thank you for watching.